What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be addressing some assumptions about me. I went ahead and asked you guys on Instagram to send over any assumptions that you have about me. And I literally said anything and I addressed some really interesting assumptions. And I feel like it was just a great way to kind of connect with you guys, break the ice a little bit. And I feel like it's been a while since I just played with makeup and chatted with you guys. So I had so much fun filming this video and addressing all of these assumptions. So let's go ahead and get into them. So I am so excited to be doing this and playing with makeup. There's a ton of new makeup that I've picked up that I want to play with. But I'm gonna just link everything that I use down below because it might be a lot to share what I'm using and also trying to talk through it. So I'll just link everything that I use down below. But let's get started. First assumption is you use Botox. And I actually have never used Botox in my whole life. I mean, I'm only 24, but 24? No, I'm 25. What? Yeah, I'm 25. I haven't used Botox ever in my life. However, it's not to say that I would never do it because I feel like you never know, in a few years or when I'm much older. You just never know. I'm totally not opposed to it though. I feel like if I had the opportunity, maybe I would do it, but totally not opposed to potentially doing that in the future. Next assumption is you make bomb food. And I wouldn't totally disagree with this one because I think that I definitely can do a little cooking here and there in the kitchen. But I would say that I'm just a really good recipe follower. And then over time, like after I feel like I've gotten comfortable with the recipe, then I'll like try to add my own twist to things. But there's definitely some times too where my food doesn't turn out the best. And my husband is not afraid to tell me when I have those moments, which I appreciate because, it's just good to be honest. But yeah, I would say I'm not no expert or no chef or anything, but I can definitely throw down when I need to, especially for the holidays. I love cooking for the holidays. It's like my favorite types of meals to cook. I love doing ham. I love doing corn pudding. I love doing mac and cheese. All of it. It's all so yummy. Next assumption is that your home is always clean. I'm not really sure, honestly, if I would consider my home always clean, but I would certainly consider it like always tidy. I mean, granted, there are definitely like occasions where it's not clean, like, right after throwing a party or like having people over, like it's not always clean, but I would say for the most part, it's certainly clean a majority of the time. And the reason why is because we really make it a habit to try to put things away where they belong as soon as we use them. Like we don't really let mess kind of build up. After using dishes, we always like put dishes away. So like I would say definitely oftentimes it's tidy and organized, but not always. And that's just kind of out of habit. I feel like I operate better when my environment is like clean and organized. So it's kind of just preference, but certainly not like a 24/7 thing, but I would say definitely a majority of the time. So it kind of took me a while to finish up my eyes. I put my lashes on. I'm going to go ahead and move on to my face. And I primed it with an illuminating primer, and I'm going to go in with foundation. It's been really hard for me to find a foundation, by the way, that I like, a good combo that I love. I did have a foundation combo that I was loving for the summertime, but now that my tan has kind of gone away, I've still been like playing around with different options. So next assumption is that you're organized and balance everything so well. And I would say I'm definitely on the organized side, but there are days and there are times where I'm not balancing things so well and I feel super overwhelmed. I feel like it really just depends on the season of life. Every season in my life is different. Right now, I feel like I have a good balance on things in terms of like what I'm handling, like what's on my plate, but that's certainly not always the case because there's sometimes times where work is extremely busy and I can't get to like balancing all of my personal things. So I guess it really just depends. But I would say a few things that help me stay organized is using a planner. I basically plan out my entire like week on there. Each Sunday, I basically spend some time planning out my week and what I want to accomplish, because I feel like something about writing stuff down holds you accountable, or at least for me, it makes me strive towards those things, as opposed to if I just keep everything like as a mental note, I can easily overlook it and easily forget that I even want to like accomplish that. So I like to write things down, and I feel like that helps a ton with like accomplishing tasks and things like that. Yeah, there are definitely times where I feel overwhelmed and I'm like, what am I doing? Why do I have so much on my plate? And I want to give up and I just want to plop on the couch and not do anything. But I think that writing everything out really helps. And it's okay to have those days, you know, where you want to rest and chill and not do anything. I highly recommend that. And I think that that helps a lot. If you find time to rest, then you're more like likely to work towards your goals and likely to work towards what you plan out, because you have those moments of rest. You know what I mean? Next assumption is you value genuine people, aka you don't play around. And I was just talking to a friend about this. I can't tell if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing. I feel like there's a little bit of both in there, because I do genuinely value genuine people. I'm very particular as to who I keep around, which I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, because I've always prioritized protecting my peace and protecting my mind and protecting my heart. Like, I don't like keeping people around that aren't genuine, you know, that don't have your best interests at heart. And I can spot red flags really fast, and I'm not the kind of person to make excuses for red flags. Like, I really just feel like we're too grown, you know? So I feel like I have to find balance, because people aren't perfect. People are gonna fail you. It doesn't mean you have to completely cut them out of your life. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to find balance. Definitely something that I prioritize in my life is keeping positive, genuine people around. By the way, I've been using this Beauty Bakery translucent powder, and it's amazing. I don't know where or how, but somehow I am dealing with more dry skin lately, so it's been hard to find a under eye powder that doesn't dry out my skin even more. Never thought I'd reach the day where I deal with dry skin, but the day has arrived. So this beauty powder is really good if you have dry skin. It doesn't really dry out my under eyes more than they already are, so just thought I'd throw that out there. Next assumption is you're very calm and super affectionate. And I feel like this is certainly like a good way of describing me, because I am pretty calm for the most part, although I can get rowdy sometimes. Like if I'm hyper, I tend to be more on the loud side, but for the most part I am pretty calm, and I am affectionate. Actually, I am super affectionate, not just physically but verbally. Like, I have endearing terms for everyone in my life. Like, I always call people like angel or honey or queen. Like, I always speak very endearingly, and the reason why is because I really like to make people feel comfortable, and that's sort of my way of just like sort of breaking the ice and not having people take things so serious, you know? This next assumption, I'm so glad that like I'm addressing it. It says you have your life together, and that is absolutely not the case at all. I certainly do not have my life together. Like, I would say, like, for my age, I have accomplished things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I have my life together. You know, like, I still struggle with a ton of things that you guys probably wouldn't even like imagine, but it's just because I don't like share it. But I certainly don't have my life together, and I never want to come off like someone that is like that, because I just feel like I don't want to be like an unreachable, like unrelatable kind of person. You know what I mean? So totally not the case. I could sit here all day and talk about how much my life is not together. I'm gonna just let that bake there for a minute, because I got a little too bronzer happy. The next assumption is similar to the one before, but I just want to add on to what I said. So this assumption says, one is that you are super organized and have your life together. By the way, love you. Love you too. Like I mentioned before, I do feel like I strive to be organized, just because I feel like I have a lot on my plate that if I don't like challenge myself to be organized, then I will literally be so overwhelmed and I would just like crash. But you know, there's definitely days where I do absolutely nothing, and I'm gonna try to challenge myself to be a little bit more intentional with what I share, and like share the times where I don't necessarily have it all together and can't figure it out. I just want to be like a little bit more open with you guys and share a little bit more of how I struggle, because we all struggle, you know, and I guess I just have to be a little bit more intentional about that. So, yeah, but definitely don't have my life together, y'all. The next assumption is you don't have any bright or colorful clothes in your closet. You have amazing style, by the way. Thank you so, so much. And that is 100% accurate. I really do not have any colored clothes in my closet. Like, a lot of my clothes, I would say 99% of my clothes is neutral, and if I do have any colors, it's because of like weddings I've been in, like the bridesmaids dresses, or for example for Christmas I do have like a pair of red pajamas, but that's genuinely like the only reason why, which is crazy, but it's just the way I like to live my life, you know? I really love neutrals. They're just what I gravitate towards. Next assumption is you and your husband make a great team. And that is so sweet. That's such a great compliment. And I definitely would agree with that. My husband and I, like, thank God we have really good communication. We have really good, like his characteristics really complement my characteristics and vice versa. So we tend to really be able to like communicate really well and just understand each other. So I'm very thankful for that. I would say we certainly make a great team, and I'm really, really thankful for him. Next assumption is you never argue with family. And I would say, yeah, for the most part, my family and I don't argue. I would say if there's ever an instance where like we don't agree with something or an issue arises, we have great communication skills, and we're all very unoffendable, which basically just means that we don't take things, obviously if something's disrespectful then we'll address it, but we don't really take things to heart. Like, thankfully we're able to like correct each other and understand and not take things like personal, you know? So yeah, I guess you could say we don't really argue. Definitely correct each other, but don't really like disrespect each other or anything like that. The next assumption is you are genuinely a nice person. That is so sweet. Honestly, like I really genuinely do strive to be like a nice, non-judgmental, just very like carefree person. I really do strive to be that way, because I just feel like from your heart flows a lot of things, and so I just try to really protect my heart and just be a genuine person. So I'm really happy to hear that, and I'm definitely going to challenge myself to continue to be just genuine and nice. Next assumption is you are fearless. You bring such powerful energy, always like, yes, baby. If you have a certain fear or fears, please share. That's very, very sweet. Honestly, something that I've learned about myself is, as a child, for many different reasons, we're about to get deep. I'm going to take a little makeup break because this one deserves its own little segment. Hold on. As a child, for many reasons, I dealt with a lot of rejection. People who experience a lot of rejection, I feel like can either be on two different spectrums. You're either super confident, like to the point where you have to like pretend you're confident in situations that you're not confident in, or you can be super insecure and like fearful of rejection, so you just like shut yourself out. You reject yourself before people can even reject you. So I'm definitely more so on the confidence spectrum, although I have dealt with that side of it where you reject yourself, where I have rejected myself first before even giving myself an opportunity to try out whatever it is. But I have definitely now, as I'm growing older, I'm falling more towards the spectrum of being overconfident in situations where I am not confident at all. It's almost like a mask that I put up sometimes because I don't want to be rejected. So I tend to just like be like super confident, you know, because I'm like, if I'm confident, then I'm not going to give people the opportunity to reject me, because I'm I'm presenting this confidence. So with that being said, there are tons of fears that I have. One of them being fear of failure, which I think is another reason why I tend to be like super overconfident, is because I'm really scared of failing, and I'm really scared of letting people down. Even when I'm fearful of failing something, or even when I'm fearful of trying something out, I'll still do it anyway, because I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? If I have already experienced so much rejection in my life, like what's another no gonna do? Or what's another like, you know, rejection experience gonna do to me? Because I already have that experience. So it's kind of like, it's weird. It's a really weird dynamic, but I think that that's probably why I come off that way, but it's certainly not how I truly feel inside, because there are certainly things that I'm fearful of. I'm fearful of failing. Whenever I experience moments like that, I always ask myself, what's the worst that can happen? And most of the time, it's nothing dramatic to the point where I would lose my life. You know what I mean? Like, it's either like, oh, they're just going to say no, or the door's going to be closed. Like, that opportunity is not going to continue. Like, that's the worst that can happen most of the time. So that's sort of the place that I try to live out of, is just like, what's the worst that can happen? And if it's not jeopardizing my health and my well-being, then let's just do it. Let's go after it and not really care what people think. But yeah, that's kind of my spiel. Next assumption is not an assumption, but I'm curious. Are you more introverted or extroverted? I definitely feel like I'm more of an introvert, because when it comes to like where I get my energy from, it's definitely from within. Like, I have to recharge and have rest days where I like don't socialize much and just like stay home and, you know, recharge. But lately I've definitely been more of an extrovert. So it really just depends. But I think if I had to give like a harsh answer, like introvert or extrovert, I would say definitely more introverted. Next assumption is you spend so much money on clothes. That is the case, but I have told myself, like, I'm gonna stop, and I need to put a stop to it, because it's certainly not a good habit to have, and not a habit that I'm proud of. I just took off my entire lip because I just was not feeling it. So we're gonna try that again. I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna put some lighter shades in the middle. I'm gonna lighten this lip up a little. I always love using this lipstick. It's really beat. I need to get a new one. It's the Maybelline 535 Purely Nude, and it really just brightens up any lip color. So I love applying this on the center. Alrighty guys, so that is basically the assumptions for this video, and also the makeup look that I did. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do really feel like it connected us, and I shared a little bit more of myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.